So what are you going to do now? Are you slowing down or are you going to stop? Stop and wonder, are you actually putting your heart at risk? Now here's the thing, 176 beats per minute can be completely normal in one situation and potentially concerning in another. So how do you know which one you're looking at? If you've ever Googled what's the normal heart rate for my age, you probably found a chart telling you your maximum heart rate. Maybe it says 220 minus your age. Simple, right? Except your heart doesn't work from a calculator. That number is only an estimate. Okay, forget about the charts for a second. Let's figure out what your heart is telling you, and by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly what to look for next time your watch flashes with a number that scares you. Let's start with something simple. Your heart is supposed to speed up when you exercise. Think about going from sitting on a couch to running uphill. Your muscles will need more oxygen, more blood, and so your cardiovascular system responds. It makes your heart beat faster, it makes your breathing faster, all of this to increase your blood flow. Now that's not your heart failing. That's your heart doing its job. And that's one very important reason why exercise is so good for your cardiovascular health. The Australian recommendations encourage adults to accumulate regular, moderate to vigorous physical activity. So if you're exercising, your heart rate goes from 70 to 100 to 130 to 160. That isn't automatically something you should fear about. Because as we said, the harder you work, the harder your cardiovascular system has to work. But now comes the question that everyone wants answered. How high is too high? This is where things get interesting. You almost certainly have heard this, 220 minus your age. So if you're 25, 220 minus 25, 195. If you're 40, your maximum is 180. If you're 60, your maximum is 160. It looks incredibly precise, but that's exactly the problem. Because those numbers can make you feel that there is a magical line. For example, 179 equals fine, but 180 is danger. As we discussed, your heart doesn't work like that. These max heart rate equations are all just estimates. Another example of such equations is from the Australian College of Sports Medicine. They guide 207 minus 0.7 times your age as one alternative to these predictive equations. But even then, it's still an estimate. So let's say you're 25. Your watch says 176 beats per minute. Does that mean you're dangerously close to your limit? No, of course not. Because we still haven't discussed the most important question, that is, what were you doing at that time? To explain this in the most straightforward way, I want you to imagine two people. They both have a heart rate of 150 beats per minute. Person A is just laying on a couch. Person B is running, sprinting. Same number, completely different situations. And this is exactly where people get misled by smartwatches. We see the number, but not the story behind it. And that's where something surprisingly simple becomes very useful. The test your watch can't do. Try talking. No, seriously, I want you to try talking. Because if you're exercising at a moderate intensity, your breathing should be heavier, but you should still generally be able to hold a conversation. As you increase the intensity, your breathing gets heavier. Eventually, you can only get a few words in before feeling the need to take another breath. That's the talk test. It's a very simple way to judge your exercise intensity rather than relying on these heart rate calculations. Now let's imagine the 25-year-old again. So imagine you're 25, you're running hard. Your watch says 176 beats per minute, you're sweating, your breathing's hard. You can barely talk, but you feel completely fine. That simply means that you're working hard. Now let's change one thing. Same you, same running, same heart rate, 176 beats per minute, but now you've developed chest pain. Feel like you're going to faint, or you're unusually short of breath. Now after the last 4 episodes of Body Talk, I want you to understand that's different. I'm much less interested in whether your watch says 176 or 166. I'm more interested in those symptoms. The Heart Foundation advises stopping physical activity and seeking medical assessment if you're having chest pain, if you're feeling faint, or if your heart rate is so high or irregular. And this is exactly where you need to be careful about the wearable technology. Your watch is useful, but it's not your doctor. It knows your heart rate, but it doesn't know your medical history. It doesn't know what medications you're taking. And it possibly can't tell you whether you're safe or not. So don't let this green zone convince you to ignore your symptoms. And on the lighter side, don't let this scary number convince you that something is seriously wrong. I want you to look at the whole picture. And now let's finally answer the big question. Is my heart rate too high for my age? The frustrating answer is there isn't one number. And that's a good sign. Because your heart rate can be influenced by multiple factors. It could be influenced by your fitness, exercise intensity, medications, heart health, stress, illness. So instead of asking what's the perfect heart rate for my age, I want you to ask, does this heart rate make sense for what I'm doing right now? Please don't obsess over one number. Ask these few simple questions. What am I doing right now? How hard am I working? How do I feel? And is this normal for me? Because your watch can simply give you a number, but your body and mind gives you the context. So the next time you look down and see 176 beats per minute on your watch, don't immediately panic. Understand what you're doing, listen to your body, and if something doesn't make sense, stop what you're doing and get it checked. Because the goal isn't to have the lowest heart rate as possible. The goal is to have a heart that can respond appropriately to whatever you're doing. And that's definitely something you can improve through regular physical activity. I'm Jashan, this is Body Talk. Stay curious, ask questions, and I'll see you in the next one.